To introduce myself, I'm Nicholas. I'm the co-founder of Chili Pepper. I co-founded Chili Pepper with my wife, Alina, whom we see on the picture. I'm French and she's Romanian. That's the connection to Flashpoint. We now live in Brooklyn, but actually the company is distributed. So it's just the two of us in Brooklyn. Chili Pepper was founded in 2016. And for 3 years, we bootstrapped the company. Although until we were fortunate to meet the Flashpoint guys in February 2019. At that time, we did a 3 million seed round. And then we did, about a year later, a 15 million A round, followed shortly with a 33 million A round. So as you can see, our revenues obviously really took off after that seed round. We started more than doubling, and we're on track to reach between 15 and 20 million this year. So the company is very special. We are been distributed from the beginning before COVID. Now we're 150 employees. We're in 22 countries and 124 cities. We also made sure that we foster diversity. So we made a conscious effort to hire executives from everywhere and represent the right gender with 50% female executives. And once a year, we all get together to celebrate. This year is going to be in Tulum in October. These are amazing opportunities to meet all these people from all over the world. We're also about to start a foundation. We want to make sure that the company is not only bringing money, but also doing good to the world. So we've assigned $1 million to a foundation. And let me take a little break and make sure that everybody is still seeing me. Can you confirm that you're still seeing me? And seeing the screen. Okay, very good. All right. So we go back to presentation. Since the title is Insights from the Founders, I thought I'd share the key things that we've done that I think have helped our success. So 3 secrets that have helped the company get to where it is today. The first one is what I would call a niche blue ocean strategy. So there's this concept of a red ocean versus blue ocean. Red ocean means that you enter a market that's existing and you try to compete on your strengths and there's existing demand. A blue ocean is where there's no market space yet. So companies are not assigning a budget to the product you want to bring to market. And as a result, there's no competition because nobody's doing it. And you need to educate the market. So there are a lot of books that say this is the right strategy, you want to go, there's nobody, which seems reasonably obvious. But the problem is there are very few large spaces where there's nobody. If there's a big market, capitalism is in what it is, eventually companies are going to be there. So one way to get to a blue ocean is to what I call a niche blue ocean, which is solving a problem that seems very narrow. And that's how we got started. We started with a very narrow problem, and then we expanded to a larger problem, but that was not perceived yet as a large problem. And the problem we tackle at Chili Pepper is the inbound process. So if you go to a B2B company and you say, I'd like to talk to somebody, you fill a form and you submit that form. You're going to get a page that says, thank you, somebody is going to call you. And then you're left wondering, well, who's going to call me where? And that's a very poor experience. One time I wanted to talk to LinkedIn. I submitted the form on a Wednesday night. They said, thank you, somebody's going to call you. And in my opinion, nobody called me. But actually, somebody had called me the next day with a 408 number. I didn't recognize the number. I didn't pick up the call and I have too many voicemails. So in that week process, companies surprisingly don't pay attention to the numbers. But when we did some research with them, we found that they lose more than 60% of their leads. Meaning that out of 100 people who want a demo, only 40 of them get them, 60 are lost, which seems complete nonsense. So that's the problem we decided to solve. I'd call it a niche blue ocean because it's a problem that is very particular and that nobody was working on. So our solution upon form submission, get the data, qualify the lead based on this data and some data augmentation, then route to the right reps, bring back the calendars, and have the prospect book in one click. And we obviously improve the success rate. We actually always double. So companies at 40% success rate get past 80% success rate, meaning that out of 100 people, now more than 80 of them are going to actually get that demo, only the qualified one, because we disqualify them. So that's the niche we started playing. And when we solved that problem, it was 2017. For us, it was immediately obvious that it was going to be a big problem and that every company should have that, and it was going to be a big market. But the niche blue ocean is that it's not obvious yet. That's the idea of a niche blue ocean strategy, that what becomes obvious to us is not yet obvious to everybody else. So for 4 years until now, we had no competition. Nobody did the same solution as what we did. It's only now that we've raised 33 million from Tiger, and we're very visible, that companies are paying attention, and we're starting to see early competitors. So that was the first part of our strategy, and we consistently follow the same strategy of looking for use cases that are not well resolved, even if they are small, with the expectation that they will grow much bigger. The second thing we did is what I call the Bullseye strategy. So the Bullseye strategy is the idea that not all revenues are equal. If you get a deal, we say 10 SMBs, 10 small businesses, you may get $100,000 in revenues. But if you get a deal with Gong, for example, in our space, with very visible, or with Twilio, or with Intuit, you may get the same amount of revenues, but you get much, much more in terms of influence and in terms of market visibility. So that's what we did. We went outbound to the most visible companies in our space, and not necessarily big names, but names very well known in our space. So our first customer for the solution I've shown you is Segment. Segment is not as well known as Intuit, but is very well known in the marketing world, and that's the world we target. So we very specifically went after the influencers, so that by now, when we at the run rate we are, everybody can get testimonial from these very well-respected companies. The third piece is that we focus on retention and expansion, and that seems obvious, but what was not obvious is that we focused on dollar retention, not logo retention. It turned out that when we started talking to VCs, we got a lot of criticism for our logo retention, which was quite weak. And that's because we're bootstrapped, so we don't care about losing a small company. We care about growing Facebook and Intuit into larger accounts and getting more dollars. So from the beginning, our net revenue retention in dollars was very strong. So we were around 140%. But that was made of some super strong revenue retention on our core business, and some weak retention on the SMBs that were not core to us and we didn't pay attention to. Eventually, we have to fix that, and just because investors pay attention to all metrics, but if there's one metric that matters in the early days, it's the dollar retention. It's how you're going to grow your business. So that was a key part of our success. When we are here, you could say, what is the next stage? So it turned out that in the niche we play, and it's the case in tech in general, when you find a attractive niche in the market, there are always some adjacent needs that should be taken care of, that enable a company to go from a solution to a platform. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're building, when you move to the next stage, an inbound conversion platform with all of the tools to cover the use cases around inbound. So we're about to launch very shortly an ability to route leads, even those who don't ask for a demo. And we're going to cover the in-app qualification. So when people have a free trial, they're able to qualify and book a meeting with their prospect in-app, and the entire solution. So we're moving from a very strong solution to a full platform. And platform play obviously is much more defendable because then you have companies depending on you for multiple use cases, in our case, critical to their business. Now you have to remember we double inbound conversion rates. So if marketing is spending $1 million to get $1 million in pipeline, they put Chili Pepper and they get $2 million in pipeline from that $1 million. So obviously, there's a very strong return on investment, a very strong appeal to work with Chili Pepper. And as we expand and help them with other use cases, then we become even more indispensable. So that's the thing we're working on. Again, this year is very strong with that platform. The other advantage is that we can further increase our expansion. That is, instead of selling just a full platform, we made the decision to sell a lot like Amazon AWS, so that you can pick and choose the products you want. In the short term, you get smaller deals because people are not forced to buy the entire solution. But in the long term, it's a much more effective way to cover all the use cases in the market and win more deals and more customers that can later be expanded. So that's the story of Chili Pepper. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. There, we're right on time. I think I have one minute left. Let me say stop sharing. Here we go. I put my name. I'm Nicolas at Chili Pepper. Feel free to email me or get in touch to me via the Flashpoint guys. And even better, connect with us and sign up to use our solution. You will see the results on your website immediately. All right, that's it for me. Not sure how this session is going to go next. Maybe in the chat you can ask me a question if we have one more minute. And if not, I'll just leave. Any question? Okay. I see there are more people. Any question in the chat? Real-time conversion. That's a good question. We actually do that. Yeah, it's a great question. We have a solution where upon form submission, we auto-dial the prospect and get them on the call to as you said, real-time convert. But it turns out a lot of companies, including us, don't want to do that because the demo takes a while and you want people prepared on both sides. So the real-time conversion is the right solution for SMBs. So for example, a company like Square, our customer uses that, but not mid-market and enterprise. Did you customer success? Yes, how long are you doing it? And are you doing it right now? So absolutely, we have a customer success team. We've had it from the beginning. We've hired a superstar, Gemma, to run our customer success. She, as a team, we keep getting better. So at the beginning, customer success was just onboarding and training. That's what needs to happen. Then we expand into onboarding, training plus business goals. Now we have business reviews. We check on their success. We share with them the key metrics of the usage. So we turn that into a relationship around the success, their business goals and the success. Any other question? Okay, well, I think we passed the time. Thank you, everybody. And again, as you've seen the inflection point, Flashpoint has been critical in our success. So I'm very thankful to the Flashpoint crowd.